want to talk about my tattoos. I'm going to be talking about my mental health, not too much, but I think that it would kind of be disingenuous if I didn't bring up some of the things that were happening. I'm going to be pretty vague because I just want to focus on the tattoo stuff, but I just wanted to put that out there. If you ain't interested in that kind of stuff, that's all good too. The person who did my my stomach piece originally was part of Black and Blue Tattoo. There was this visiting artist named Kalatu who had a cancellation last minute. I did go into her Instagram, what kind of art style she has, and I really liked it. But then when I looked at her Flash portfolio, there wasn't anything that was particularly speaking to me, and I was really worried because I was like, oh shoot, like I booked this appointment and I kind of felt bad. And that was like that millennial guilt, letting somebody tattoo you just because you feel awkward for not getting something. I ended up just looking through it a couple of times, and there was this one piece of a wolf on a boat that I did really like, and I ended up getting that on my upper thigh. It hurt a little bit more than I was expecting, but it's probably still around like a 3. And that was just because I was used to fine line tattoos, and this person did more of an etching style tattoo, so the lines that she would do were pretty thick. My little wolf. Different types of inks heal differently. It didn't blow out like my stick and poke tattoo. It just healed a lot thicker than what I was expecting. If you see how my tattoo looks like now and you see how it looked like when it was first finished, like the lines that she did were actually a lot thinner. She's a vegan tattoo artist, so she used vegan ink. I didn't even know that like inks were not vegan. I don't know if that's like the way that my skin reacted to her vegan ink. On some other people, the tattoos healed a little bit thicker, but not as thick as mine. I did really love her style, and I got another idea inspired by Ainu mythology on hunting, the life cycle of a deer getting hunted. You have to treat the hunted animal with respect, and if you do, that means that their spirit will let, you know, all of the other living creatures know, hey, it's totally cool to be hunted. They super respect you. They're drinking sake and having a party over our flesh. Pony Reinhardt's style is like having a lot of miscellaneous things put together like a collage, and that's how I was imagining this too. Every single deer would have like different little objects associated with it. Arrows for when they were being hunted, mushrooms for adolescents. Submitted it to Pony Reinhardt and it was rejected. So I thought that I would get a tattoo done by the same artist who did my Flash, Kalatu. And Kalatu is actually based in New York. I was visiting New York over spring break. This would be perfect for me to be able to book my tattoo during my spring break. I was going to New York to just do general touristy things and then also get a tattoo. So I had thought if I get a tattoo at the beginning, I am going to suffer and be super uncomfortable, but if I get a tattoo at the end, like it'll be okay. You know, your mileage may vary. And I booked my tattoo like literally on the last day before I needed to leave. She showed me the sketch. I think something was lost in communication because like I was emailing her and we never had an in-person consultation about the placement. She thought I only wanted it on one side of my rib cage. I actually wanted both sides. So she had to spend like another like hour or 2 redesigning it, and this was another 6-hour tattoo, only her line work was super thick and it was also my rib cage, and that rib cage tattoo is like a very specific kind of pain. It felt like someone was tickling me but also electrocuting me and burning me. 8 out of 10. It was also super awkward. She had double booked herself because she had an assistant, and I think her assistant didn't realize that my tattoo was gonna take that long. And like they were coming from Philadelphia, but she was like, you're coming from California, so I'll prioritize you because at least they're on the same coast. I did notice she made a mistake when she was doing the antlers on one of the deers. Like she accidentally, like her arm slipped, so you just have like this like one mistake that's just whoosh. And I don't know if it was because maybe when I was getting tattooed, I twitched and she wasn't able to predict it. I usually sit very, very still because I am afraid of accidentally messing the tattoo artist up. Because it's etchings and it's just an outline, it's like kind of obvious. Adult deer getting hunted. The deer transforming into a spirit deer, the kind of delineation here. Being cooked with rosemary, different things like ginger. And then the corpse going back, returning, and then it would kind of go around And get here. The spirit would be back to the living. Like that thing that's poking out, like that's like a line all across the antler. Growing up, becoming bigger, and then the cycle continues. Like this part over here was the last part that she was trying to finish. And it was satanic. Whenever you go get tattooed, try your best to just like keep your sessions to like 3 or 4 hours, and also always bring snacks. I still really love the tattoo, but it healed like a lot thicker once again than I was expecting. After my 2 experiences with white tattoo artists trying to do Asian mythology, made me realize I should probably find Asian tattoo artists to do Asian mythology inspired work. As much as I love my tattoos, there are a lot of times where I just think I could have gotten those done by Asian American artists as well. You know, I'm not blaming them. It's not their lack of skill. I think it's just they just don't have as much clarity on the particular vision or the type of vibe that I want. I know that's like really generic, but I think that's art, right? When I was getting my first couple of big tattoos, it was just so important for me to experience the pain that comes along with it so I could contextualize all of the other emotional things that I was going through. At the time, a harassment case at my previous workplace, there were times where I found myself being stuck in a depressive place and feeling like I don't know if I can deal with it anymore. And this was even during my time where I was going to therapy, I was on medication, I was seeing a psychiatrist. Sometimes mental health hits and you can't really do anything about that, but just ride the wave and trying to negotiate with it as best as you can. After getting that tattoo done, those like 6 agonizing hours where, you know, I had hit my pain threshold at around like the 5th hour, and my body had basically run out of adrenaline by then, so I was just feeling the pain like so badly. Getting tattoos has really just taught me how to chill. After I got 2 mythological creatures on my chest, one is from Chinese culture and one is from Japanese culture. Xiezi Baku. This Xiezi, I might be pronouncing it incorrectly. Bare-faced unicorn, like that's a direct translation. Justice-seeking beasts. So they know instinctively who is the wrong party and they will like impale the person who is in the wrong. The Baku is Japanese mythology, and it is a creature of your dreams where if you have a nightmare, you can call on the Baku to come and eat your dreams. But if you call on the Baku too many times, they will be done with your bullshit and they will just eat your entire hopes and aspirations. So you're just like an empty shell of a person. The moral of the story is you can ask for help, but don't take advantage of it. This is where I went to a Asian tattoo artist, also known as Iron Wave Tattoo. I seriously just told him, like, I want to get these 2 mythological creatures done. Here's the background. I gave him some reference photos, but he did his own research and he sent me the sketches. There was just like a instant understanding of like what kind of style I wanted to get. He also worked at Black and Blue Tattoo. Once you find a couple of artists that you really, really love, you can keep going back and getting more work from them, and they like that too. After that, I started my big back piece journey that connects up to the front. Found this tattoo artist who I really loved. Her name is Laura A.E. Taylor, or Late Tattoo. She is a biracial tattoo artist who came from the UK after Brexit. Her tattoo style is like medieval, illustrative. Like, I feel like I haven't seen that kind of tattooing style from other artists. All of my other tattoos, I was able to get them done in one session. I was very much used to the instant gratification of getting a totally finished tattoo done in one day. Probably I'll put some pictures up of the progression, but I think I had like 5 or 6 sessions over a year. The first couple of sessions were the longer sessions, like 6 hours long, like for the outline of the back, shading and doing detail work, and then adding on to the front, getting the shoulder pads in. The tattoo pain like kind of range. There were certain parts like my back rib cage where I was just like, oh my god, like why is she doing this? Or when she was doing dark shading, that always gets me. Like that dark shading was woo, like that was like 8, 9 like pain level for sure on certain areas. But you can see that it goes across my spine all the way to like the middle of my neck, and you can see the black cording That was hella painful. It is definitely the number one thing that I get complimented on. But to be honest, like there were points where it wasn't super proportional. She hadn't done the extra filigree out here. It was just these little shoulder pads. And I kind of felt a little bit unbalanced. And that was like for a couple of months. Incomplete tattoos, it's not exactly what you were imagining until it gets filled in. I basically put everything into her hands. I just told her my placement and then we worked together to see what I might like, what I wouldn't like. I believed in her vision. I believed in how she would be able to proportion out the end result. At that point, I had completely thrown away this entire thought of tattoos that I can easily cover up in conservative clothing. I still can, but you can almost always see it regardless of what outfit that I'm wearing, unless I'm wearing like a turtleneck. I did get more tattoo ideas during that time, but I was like, I don't have enough money to be getting all of these tattoos right now. I just have to commit to my big back piece. And then after I'm done with that, which it took a year, then I started to get like other pieces. So now I'm going to talk about like all of my tattoos that I got this year in 2020, and they kind of turned into like a quarantine tattoo moment. I actually started 2 other projects, another stick and poke tattoo on my lower left thigh. The tattoo is another creature from Chinese mythology called Tu Shen. He is basically the guardian of gay relationships in China. Biracial Asian artists, like I was like, they're the person who I want them to do my tattoo. Keep opening and closing this door for my dog. That year, 2020, I'm year of the rat, and boy, has this 2020, this 本命年 has been cursed. Got Tu Shen and a rat, which is me, gay rats, gay rat energy 2020. Throw in a little bit of my zodiac signs. Yeah, I'm a zodiac gay. I started to get the stick and poke done in February before all of the COVID stuff hit. Literally, it was supposed to be just like 2 weeks afterwards, I was supposed to get my second session done, and that is exactly when all of the shutdown protocols came into place. I got the rest of this done, I think a few months afterwards. Right here. And the pain level for the stick and poke tattoo was pretty minimal. And then on my the side of my left thigh, I actually didn't know I wanted to get a piece done until I saw the artist's Instagram story. Laura did my back piece. There were also a couple of other tattoo artists in the studio as well. Sunny did more like geometric style work. She wanted to do more empowering feminist tattoos, lingerie tattoos, and I was like, I don't know what that's gonna look like, but that sounds amazing. A lingerie, gun holster, knife holster type situation. And she was just like, I know exactly what you're talking about. So this is how it looks like. This piece is still not finished yet. I'm planning on like getting it extended to the small of my back and maybe a little bit on, you know, my right hip bone. This tattoo pain level, like, I gotta say, sometimes it just hit like a 9 because she's really used to doing like dark geometric work. So the first session that we had, she used like a really heavy needle. And the next session she was like, yeah, you know, I realized I don't need to use that kind of needle on like the more delicate work that we're doing here. So I'm not going to use it this time around. After she was done doing the shading, I like realized that the part that kind of looked like a knife holster also kind of looked like a cascading chandelier of uteruses. And Sunny actually told me, she was like, oh yeah, that's actually really funny that you mention it, because I've had a lot of other fans comment on my Instagram, like, your artwork is very labial or like vaginal. People would see the sketch and they would be like, yeah, I don't want to get this tattooed on me, but then they would be like too uncomfortable to be like, because it looks like a vagina or it looks like a penis. And for me, I love how it looks like a bunch of uteruses. So I got another tattoo from Vin, just suddenly got this idea, abstract hourglass, and the 2 bulbs are actually the profile of people's heads. The bottom hourglass has an ocean, and then the top hourglass has like a peaceful pond. Right here, see that 3 to 4 on the pain scale. It took the exact length of Howl's Moving Castle. Yeah, he had it set up, a really huge lounge chair. You have the TV on the side and he's playing music, and like there's like essential oils diffuser. He's like a really chill guy. Hello. Those are all my tattoos so far. Let me know if you want me to talk more about tattoos.